we together formed the Foundation for World Peace, uh, where we actually use backdoor diplomacy these days
Excellent. Sure.
to try, yeah, to try. I've been sitting with presidents and prime ministers and federal ministers in Pakistan and even abroad, and therefore, like, I know how to talk to them. They're all human beings, Marsha.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, Marsha, I have taught a lot of students. I've been teaching at universities. I've even had the opportunity to teach at UCL in London, and then in Pakistan at the very best universities. Um, since 2005, I've been teaching um, MBA students, MPhil students, and I've churned out something like I think 25,000 students who are all over the world, even in the United States. I've
That's
been very
amazing.
often, I've been very often all over the world, but I actually told them to get out of this country, and they said, "Why do you want to stay on, but you keep telling us?" So I had told them to make something of themselves around the world,
Yeah.
and that is what I'm about also in building youngsters
Mhm.
um, years. I've actually helped in placement of jobs for quite a few of them.
Right.
And I love young people. I feel younger. I'm much
Pretty
older
young
than
myself.
you. Than I do.
I think I'm just getting started. Are you kidding me? And we are actually just getting started because the the whole arena has changed now, is changing so dramatically. It's like the turn of the century when they went from horse and buggy to automobile, the whole industrial age. And we're going through, we're out of the industrial age now. We're into the AI age, and it's so dramatically different. We're starting again.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I would look at the ancient and think, what a marvelous thing. Or I would look at Edison's light bulb and say, wow, how did he think about it all? And then, like, I would look at what I've been through. Um, you know, I used to drive a military jeep, and now I drive an automatic car, and which is fully automatic, and I can't imagine the difference. Satellite communication, where you can actually, it says left, right, and you get wherever you have to. Where I used to be very good at map reading before. So you see, like, I mean, we are really in that defining age, I think, Marsha.
Yes, we
Um,
are, in a big way, in a really big way. And this is why actually I wanted to talk with you today, because I was very impressed with the webinar that you set up looking at AI. What was it called? It was called The Future of AI in Education, Jobs, and Business. And I know you have another one coming up, the transformative power of ethical imperatives and types of AI.
well, I put it together in a nutshell, should I say, and it's really stemming out of my own self thinking.
Yeah.
Like I reflect very deeply as a philosopher,
Hmm.
and I do a lot of research. I've learned everything by myself, and like I talked about voice typing, I don't type now on a typewriter. I actually am clear enough in my speech therapy to be able to, like speak, and automatically the writing is there.
Don't you
It
love it?
gives, and I do a lot of online presentations, like you and I met on that last one, and this next one on next Thursday. And I'm into um, defining artificial intelligence for a lot of people to understand what it's about. I've done a lot of research by myself, and I find it's a new world. By it's something like to make it easier on us. It's into medical science. It's into engineering.
Yeah.
It's actually um, not separated by location, but should I say united in vision as such. And that is what I'd like to get across, actually.
Yeah, let's
You know,
talk
like
about that now because what I was really impressed with when I attended your webinar was were the standards of kind of a declaration of standards because I see everyone talking about these things across the internet, how we should do this and we should do that. It's such a radical new industry that everybody's scrambling. And it's like, from my perspective, everybody also already understands what's required, but nobody's actually put it together and created like a standard of operation. So when I come up with an app, it's like the good housekeeping certification, or it's the standard certification. Does it meet these standards? And this is one of the things that I really appreciated about hearing what you had articulated, which to me was an overview of those standards all in one package. And I wondered if we could look at those now and just say, these are the things that in going forward and forming this new industry that's impacting the world and can have a lot of impact on equality and peace and industry and commerce, prosperity, health, and every aspect of life. What are the basic standards that we need to strive toward? Because as you know, the safety issues are so huge, the environmental issues are so huge, the draw on energy, and also the concentration of power in the hands of so few people. I mean, it's really a dramatic shift in the world or the global world order, I would say. So I was really captured by your standards, and I wanted to articulate those so that we would have them in one place and encourage people to move this forward, that these are the basics. This has to be met in order to be a qualified application in AI.
you see, I think I must congratulate you, Marsha. You have put it all together so beautifully, should I say. I would say that artificial intelligence is really the future. And if we are in this defining moment today where we can actually visualize it's here today, it's in our present. And therefore, it's for us to pass it on to the next generation as part of our legacy. And if we fail to do that, I think that I'm probably as old as you from that angle. And so I've learned a lot. And having been into the military, then the corporate world, then into the education sector, um, I've done a bit of business.
This is really just what you articulated on the 14th. It's like these are the things that you felt were the minimum standards, and I thought it was brilliant what you gave us. I could see your wisdom, I could see your love, and I could see your philosophical overview that was so impactful. And that
On what are the pitfalls so far as AI is concerned. How can we use it in this new AI powered world? And how can we use it successfully so that we do not allow people, either in the banking industry or the educational sector, to cheat or scam others in any personal way at all? I believe that it's going to change our world, Marsha, and it's going to change our world in the sense that I use AI actually, and I use quite it very conveniently because, like I say, I'm good at talking, I'm good at lecturing, so I actually lecture uh, Gemini or Meta or Chat GBT even, and tell them exactly what to do for me. And
This
they
is all
churn
good,
out.
all good news.
But like you, you can't expect it to work wonders for you without dictation. It's the human mind,
Right,
it's the
right.
brain, it's your brain that will
Hmm.
actually make it function. So it's a
Hmm.
tool. Like you've got MS Word, or you've got PDF, or whatever other files or tools you might be using these days, even if you're into photography or whatever. AI is just like another tool, and you've got to dictate the terms as to what exactly you want done. And it's your mind, it's your brain that's going to tell them what to do. But then at the same time, we've got to be careful of these naughty people, the mafia, as we would call them, on the other side of the fence, who might be misusing, where we are looking at, say, enabling personalized learning for students, which brings about, um, the strengths and the weaknesses of a
Right.
student, and makes students study at a certain pace or a certain style, and brings about quality education. Uh, when we are teaching, the books are there, but the books are all outdated now.
Yes, yes.
What we are looking at is research based knowledge for all our students, whether they're doing their bachelor's in business administration, or whether they're doing their master's or MPhil or PhD or whatever, or even doctors. I teach doctors also on public health and health management otherwise. Uh, I've kept myself in full form because I believe in good health, and therefore, like I picked up from my mother and father, who are both doctors, and therefore, like I believe that, like you're talking about Bhutan, um, now that's a very remote area in the
Yes.
northeast of India, and I would look at quality education there. And so basically, I would say that we're all teachers, you and me, teachers of a kind. So AI is going to free us from our routine tasks. It's going to empower us to become mentors and guides for children of all ages. And my key message, so far as the education sector is concerned, is that it will restore, should I say, the soul of education, and not replace it as such. So that is
Oh,
the
that's
good thing.
interesting. How will it do that?
Well, you see, like uh, children, I don't know about, I've studied in the UK as a student myself, and I've learned to try and ask as many questions and gain as much of knowledge as possible.
Hmm.
I find that in a country like Pakistan or India or even Bhutan that you mentioned, Nepal or the Maldives or Sri Lanka, this area of the subcontinent, I've been interacting with people in Africa and Uganda, Nigeria, the Congo, etc. And I find that children or students at college level even, they learn by rote,
Mm.
and that is not understanding knowledge. That is not how you can use AI or artificial intelligence. Uh, you've got to question it, and
Hmm.
then only will it give you the answers. And you can question it if you have that kind of knowledge
Right. Good
yourself.
point. You're right.
whether it's geography or physics or chemistry or what have you. Um, so it brings about what I would say critical thinking, you know, um, and problem solving in mathematics even. Um, so it's not just something that somebody can cheat from, like write an essay on such thing. No, well, that's out so far as I'm concerned, because critically, it's people like us who are professors and teachers who could actually turn around and say, no, that's not what we wanted.
And particularly having
What we wanted is something else. And you have brought something that is typically there on AI. I could dictate it and get it out myself within
yeah,
10
yeah,
seconds.
that's a very good point. I have been feeling like being human is going to be a unique value proposition in the new era, because already you're seeing all these advertisements, you're seeing these things even on LinkedIn and other platforms where they're automatically addressing you, or they're saying their likes. It just undervalues all that, and so being human is going to turn out to be a value proposition.
Yeah, you see, people are very scared of the coming in of AI. India, for example, I'll give you the example of Tata Industries, which is a very big industrial giant in India. They have actually sacked something like 7,000 employees.
Yeah, this
And
is what the
without
problem
the
is.
right, you know, robos are overtaking factories where you
Mhm.
have, I've seen it in Japan, having worked with an automobile company like Hino of Japan. I've seen huge robo arms actually turning trucks around, and putting them into paint booths and painting them and fitting on doors and windscreens, etc. So I've seen everything automated, and there's one thing that I find, like I used to be up on a pedestal in a glass kind of a showroom where one used to look down at what was happening in the factory, and I could see robos working on the automobiles, putting on the wheels and screws and all that. But if something went wrong, it's the human brain that actually works out what has gone wrong and what needs to be corrected. So that is exactly what AI is about. It's not going to take away jobs. It will just relieve us of the mundane things in life, like repetitive tasks or whatever they might be. But I do believe that the human brain will remain to solve problems as such. And
Yes,
therefore,
but in the interim, there is a terrible amount of job loss projected. About 40 to 60% are anticipated in job losses. Now, this is like you no longer need a farrier to put shoe horses when you're driving automobiles. You don't need buggy whips when you're no longer driving buggies. But it is a transitional period, and my feeling about this, when I have watched these in the past, is that they devastate communities, they devastate families, and they devastate the leaders in those families that are the bread earners. So I really do feel that part of this is to bring through for working people an opportunity to somehow get retrained, be part of a job corps, or somehow contain some kind of income for their families as we are making this transition, because I can see it being quite devastating across all cultures. And it's already happening. It's happening here in the US and across the world. And I mean, that's just too many people being without work, really. How do you see that?
well, I see a problem in leadership, Marsha. I see failing leadership in being able to recognize the transformation that the market is taking place. I've noticed the stocks and shares in the New York Stock Exchange falling rapidly and not being able to get a proper foothold. I've seen jobs vanish. I've seen others evolve. And when I talk about the others, it's the question of recognizing human quality. Now, there are quality people out there. So, what we are doing is, when we are looking into artificial intelligence, is that we are actually sifting through uh, the brains of people virtually to find out as to where the quality lies so far as human intellect or human intelligence is concerned. And we are actually getting hold of intellectuals who can actually um, be creative, have empathy, and have leadership qualities, and are very easily adaptable. You see that is these four uh, uh, things are critical
Say those
when
again.
we look
What
at
are the four things?
creativity. The second is empathy. The third is leadership, and the
Mhm.
fourth is adaptability.
Yeah, right.
So
Those are going to
if
be the leadership skills of the AI generation. That's exactly right. Along with did you mention their critical thinking? I didn't hear that again, but I think
yeah,
those will be the qualities that will be required. So please continue. What are you thinking is going to get us through this rough period of tremendous job shift, really?
well, frankly, Marsha, I would say that reskilling of
Hmm.
the human mind
Hmm.
is essential in the sense that this is a new skill that all of us have to learn. And we've got to teach ourselves first and be good at teaching ourselves so that we do not teach the wrong things. It's for us, people like us who are intelligent enough, who have been through the mill, who have seen um, the remnants of the Industrial Revolution in the late, should I say, the early 1900s or whatever, and we've seen um, automation come in all round. So we have been lucky. You and I have been lucky in lifelong learning, should I say?
Yes. Hmm.
And that is something that the children of today do not have. You see, like it's a new pathway that we have to carve out for the children of tomorrow, where we have workers, parents, and even refugees, you see, in the world today. Um, the key message for everybody is um, we do not require physical power. We require critical thinking, like you had mentioned earlier, and that critical thinking will lead us to dream further as to how to use artificial intelligence um, the right way and not misunderstand it. So it's going to make an impact on future generations. And basically, the way I would say is that it's going to equip the youth of tomorrow with future ready skills. Now, I'm learning, I'm teaching at the same time, and like every Thursday, I'm planning to reskill while learning myself, while going into a deep study, should I say a philosophical study. I'm a dreamer and I'm dreaming big. And therefore,
We need.
like, yeah, that's great. So, like, what I believe is that we've got to let businesses survive, where they're laying off people. I think that We've got to drive personalization. It's people like you and me. We are persons, and it's our personal capability which has to have an input into other people's lives to make them understand as to how far we have come and how far they can go in the next, say, 30 years. You know, so we are the driving force right now. We have got to take responsibility, and we have to somehow inculcate in the young minds that they are responsible for the future of their own lives if they can get a grip of uh, the modern scope towards artificial intelligence. And therefore, we have to drive in the fact that there has to be um, um no risks involved, no bias, um there's no inequality, men and women. Like when I said, it's no physical strength is required. There's no heavy lifting. So men and women together can work on artificial intelligence, and it has to be used ethically. That is of vital importance. There has to be ethical.
What does that mean to you, Dr. Hussein? What does that mean to you to be used ethically?
You see, you and I have been taught certain ethics, whether in religion. My mother was a Roman Catholic, my father a Muslim. I caught up in between both religions because my father used to sit at one end of the table and my mother at the other end, and I used to hear from both sides the best of both religions and about all the ethics, all the right things that we must do, the good manners, and so that is what I would say. What we have to put into business practices also at the same time, and the key message for me from my side for business leaders today. I'm teaching chief executives, I'm teaching directors of companies, I'm teaching chief operating officers operations. I've been running operations, and I keep saying that the best companies will not just be fast, they will be fair and principled. So that is what the kind of ethics I'm talking about, to be
Yeah, right.
ethically right. And then, I believe that models must be responsible innovation and ethical entrepreneurship. Obviously, there are a lot of people who just don't know what they're about. Um, there are a lot of youngsters these days who want to have a good time, but they have, to my mind, a very onerous, should I say, task on their shoulders. They have to learn to take responsibility. And it is for us to teach them to become responsible young men and women, young women and men, should I say, with a purpose. A purpose that brings about, say, even in businesses, a culture by which businesses can become profitable through the use of AI. And when I say that, uh, I would say that um, when I'm talking about ethical responsibility, I mean that profit should be used in the right manner to make a proper profit, not to cheat people. Cheating is out. And this is what I keep saying when I'm talking about the World Peace Foundation, or FWP, as I keep telling people all the time, that um, sadly we have today the wrong kind of leadership. Leadership that wants to become famous overnight without the right ethics, sadly. I'm looking at our old leaders like Roosevelt, like Churchill. Um, I'm looking at Truman. I'm looking at Kennedy in the United States. I'm looking at Gandhi of India. I'm looking at Mandela of South Africa. I'm looking at ethical leaders like that. And I've read a lot of books. And like Gandhi was a very simple man. And that is what is. And when I talk about responsibility, I'm talking about people's conscience, where we have people like us who are teaching future generations whatever we have learned and inculcate that into artificial intelligence, that you don't have to cheat to get ahead in life. You don't have a good time and then use artificial intelligence so quickly that you have actually used it unintelligently and in a bad manner, just to quicken the pace. But we have to teach them the right ethics, the right mannerisms, um, and we have to tell them not to question AI, but to use it properly, you see, and question it in the right manner with the right intellectual thinking. Or, like I said, I'm a dreamer. So if I dream tomorrow that the day after should be an even better day, whether I'm looking at change in climatic conditions or whether I'm looking at a certain code for a company that is into warehousing, say, how to make it easier to stack products in a warehouse for the production line. Um, so basically, I'm looking at team spirit, I'm looking at collaboration, and I'm not looking at competition. Sadly, the leaders of today, whether it's in organizations or should I say in countries, they are competing with each other. They there is no balance, should I say, in integrity, and that is the reason why people like if I'm running, say, the World Peace Foundation, the Foundation for World Peace, FWP, that is why I'm having a very tough job because uh, there are leaders who are wanting a quick fix. There's no quick fix solution.
Right. Right.
There's a lot of thinking involved. There's a lot of critical thinking, what you had mentioned earlier, involved. And that is where I turn around and I say there is no favoritism. Where, for example, I turned around here and I said, what? You've got 70 ministers. Look at the government spending. You've got a mobile in your hand. You've got a cellular phone in your hand. You've got the world in your hands.
Pretty
You've
much
got
you do, don't you?
all
It's amazing. Yeah.
you've got all the statistics in your hand. You just need 12 ministers maximum. You don't need all you don't need all that kind of governance. So that is
Yeah.
what it boils down to in artificial intelligence, you see. Like where your cell is working so beautifully for you these
Mhm.
days. In the
Yeah.
same way, you can actually use artificial intelligence in such a manner to help you. Like, you asked me about the Institute of Professional Studies. Somebody turned around to me about 5 years ago, and I had a 3-story building um, known as the Institute of Professional Studies, TIPS, as I called it. I was the founder, chairman of TIPS, and my wife and I worked together on that. She's also an educationist, and we had students of all ages, um, even young students, bigger than toddlers, uh, then students who were in middle level classes, senior level classes, university students also doing their masters with us, and then of course people doing their dissertations, PhDs, and somebody turned around to me one fine day and he says, Dr. Ash, you don't need such a big building. And I said, why? Why do you say that? He says, look at the rent you're paying for so many classrooms. You're an institution by yourself.
Yeah.
And I thought very deeply. I really couldn't sleep for 3 nights just thinking about what he'd said. He says, you've got to cut your costs. If you're good at what you're doing, you should be learning much more by yourself. I still remember that gentleman who told me that. He said, you should be learning by yourself and being capable enough to do things online. And that is when COVID hit us.
Wow.
And I had to
Timely.
close, yeah, I had to close down the institute because of COVID. And that's when I started working online. I believe that the world we build starts now. And that's why I've picked up on artificial intelligence.
It's a that I love that
Exactly.
point about equality. It's universal. It goes across the globe. It's gender neutral. I mean, a lot of that is so true, isn't it? And it does outline kind of the tremendous opportunity that's ahead of us.
Yes. And basically, it's good, it's not evil. Um, like I think an evil person would look at it from another angle, but we've
Sure.
got to beat those people at it. And so it's basically, now to put it in a nutshell, it's actually a mirror of our own values and priorities. I talked about the ethics I was taught, the manners that I was taught, how to behave, how to get up when an elderly person walks in, how to say please, thank you, and sorry at the same time. I always write that on my whiteboard whenever I enter a classroom. I put a smiling face, and when I look at a new classroom, when I enter a new classroom and I see very smug faces, who's this guy? So I put a big smiling face on the whiteboard and I write the word please, thank you, sorry.
I
And I say
love
use
that.
that all the
That
time
kind of
when you're
captures it
talking to
all.
them.
That all captures it, doesn't it? You don't need really any more to get by. If
Exactly.
you are accountable for yourself and you take responsibility for your own actions, that covers it, right?
Exactly. So that's how I teach students, and that's what I'd like to uh, leave behind as my legacy for younger generations to follow as such. And it's a challenge. It's human, and it's not. There's nothing technical about it. As
A
with
good point.
intentions,
I recall, well, when the television came out, people had to learn how to replace television tubes and this type of thing. But after a while, none of us are replacing television tubes. And the same is true with like the computers when they first came out. Everybody felt they had to know coding, they had to know this, that, and the other thing. But well, we won't even need to know it with AI. But the thing is, it's great if you do, so you can safeguard yourself. You can, prevent your hacks and all this type of thing. I'm not denigrating the technique or the expertise. It's well deserved. But the majority of people are just turning on their little laptops and getting at it, right? So this is true what you're talking about.
So, like, I'm glad you brought out this point about television having coming in TV. I still remember the black and white TV that entered our home when I was a child, and like somehow it changed people at that time. It changed society, where people were very social, I believe, through my parents in the 1930s and the 1940s, where they used to meet together and have social parties
Tremendous.
together.
Mhm.
Uh, the television really broke conversation completely,
It's a very good
where
point.
exactly where people were reading a lot of books, um, a lot of classics and good books. Um, I would say where people you would actually sit and discuss various authors and what they had written about, and things like that were no longer being discussed, but everybody was focused on the screen. And my mother
Or
used
not
to
very
love
high
watching
value
movies.
often too.
My mother used to love watching movies,
Right.
and I still remember we were five brothers, and we used to. I was the youngest of five, and I was the favorite of uh, both father and mother, and
You little brat, you.
I used to be goaded into asking my parents for money to go and see the movies, and
You were the
we
one.
used to
Let
try to.
Mikey do it, right?
So, like, we used to. The latest Tarzan movie used to be on, or some Western
Mhm.
movie, with uh, great actors, um, Rex Harrison, or
Yeah.
Johnny Wees Miller, um, other Robert Mitchum, Tony Curtis, great actors.
Yeah.
So that's true. Yes, the movie world, to my mind, took us away from the knowledge given through books, through great writers like Agatha Christie
Mhm.
or Shakespeare,
Yeah.
and took us towards uh, something that was false, should I say.
Yeah.
Hollywood, or even in India, Bollywood, as they call it, uh, things
No,
that
it's a good
sometimes.
point. I mean, you're making the point that technology impacts our society deeply. And this is another way in which we're going to see that. And I think that's why this conversation, your effort to educate us and others and yourself, is really imperative because what are the conclusionary points that you'd like to make about our conversation today? And I thank you very much for spending this time together with me and really giving us a lot to reflect about.
Well, the bottom line to my mind, Marsha, really is that we've got to think about expanding access. Um, Firstly, to enhance education and then empower humanity
Mhm.
at large. We've got to teach children and youth to be technologically competitive, but more importantly, ethically conscious. We've got to create systems today that will serve dreamers, builders, and leaders of tomorrow. Uh, Now, I'm looking at a visionary yet grounded outlook for the next 30 or 40 years, shaped by the trajectory from the Industrial Revolution to AI. You can use this for speeches, discussions, or strategic planning with a legacy mindset. So the legacy vision is over a span of the next 30 to 40 years for future generations, where I'm looking at a more intelligent planet that we live on, which is AI plus sustainability. And that's how we will drive energy, food, water, and waste.
Right.
Cities will be smarter, greener, and cleaner, using AI to monitor and optimize everything. I believe that it will regenerate technologies and it will reverse environmental damage, not just slow it down.
It certainly has that potential, doesn't it?
Yes. And finally, I believe that our legacy goal should be our personal legacy. I mean, it should be that we should leave behind a world that is not just livable, but thriving, regenerative, and equitable. So, like a world where every child can reach their potential,
Yeah.
regardless of background or geography. We are
Right.
all equal. We are all
Right.
equals, black, white, brown, yellow,
We're
whatever
all
have you.
humans.
We are all humans. So it's not just animals alone who
No.
can't talk back to us, but we've got people suffering from starvation these days. And it's a sad affair. Um, I am looking at a different world where that humane spirit comes in, and I'm looking at a lovely world where routine jobs will be handled by machines, but this will be open for creative, meaningful work and remote work, which should bring in digital entrepreneurship and AI co working will be the normal. The economy will reward human qualities like storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
leadership, empathy, and
Mm-hmm.
innovation. So that is basically the legacy goal that I'm looking at. And by 2050 plus nations, by 2050 plus, I believe that nations may adopt a global AI constitution for
Mm-hmm.
ethical development and use.
Yeah.
AI will be embedded with values of inclusion, fairness, and peace building. Conflict prevention may become increasingly data driven and predictive also. So, obviously, we're going to build systems where technology protects life rather than threatens it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be looking into hospitals where AI and nanotech bioengineering will create preventive, personalized, and predictive healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Real time monitoring and AI diagnostics will be more proactive, not reactive as such. Mental health will be prioritized alongside physical health. So we're going to leave behind, finally, to conclude, Marsha, I would say, a generation that is not only longer living, but healthier, happier, and more mentally resilient.